In progress.
This is a bonus episode that I'm just recording to put into words some of my thoughts that are occurring right now. Right now, it's just about almost 10:10 a.m. And just wanted to share a little bit of my current routine and focus and structure, if you can even call it that. I tend to more just flow and let things present themselves and unfold as it occurs. And I kind of just like download the ideas or the information and intuit like what is happening at the moment. So for me, it's like I don't ever really actually just plan, but it's more just this feeling of like filtering in or allowing in or going within and finding what is actually happening right now. So currently I'm in the Philippines and I am, just living my life. I mean, if you've been following any part of the podcast, you know that my lifestyle has really been just living around the world and going with the flow and being pulled as I feel called to different places. And it's just really a journey unfolding and allowing myself to be where I feel called to be at any given point. And it's just a blend of living, traveling, working, whatever you want to call it. It's non-compartmentalized. I don't even know if I would put a label on it. It's just simply being. It's existing. It's just being a human being, a spiritual being in a human in a human form for a while. And so at this current stage, I'm 37. I'm a month in Philippines. Just last month I was in Indonesia, and um it's really just this way of life where it's almost like living out of a suitcase, right? And somehow there's something about living out of a suitcase that really almost refines your life so elegantly and beautifully because you are just kind of, especially when you go on longer term travels. So I tend to go for a few months at a time, and then maybe I'll reset and I'll go back to my home base and organize things a little bit. And then I'll pop off for a few months again. And, the longest trip I'd ever taken, which is the story that is the main focus of my podcast, Let the Story Write Itself, was the one that occurred back in 2015, 2016 that led me on an over 1 year journey around the world. And that was like the granddaddy of the solo trips, like my adventures that led me on this long journey around the world. But now it's just a way of life, and it's kind of just like this intermittent thing that, every so often I'll take a few months here, I'll take a few months there. And it's just like being a global citizen, right? So, what this really does is that I'm experiencing so many different places, so many different things. It's like I'm not living the same life just day in, day out in a way. Like I'm always in new places, I'm always experiencing new things. I get to go to, every meal that I have is like at a different cafe or something. And actually, that's one of the things that I noticed. Like every single day, I've been going to a different cafe. And so it's like an experience. And, even when I'm like in Vancouver in Canada, like I would do that. Like that would be like part of my routine. Like I never really like making meals at home. Obviously, I'm just a solo. So it's just not an experience if you're just like buying and cooking stuff for yourself. For me, it's much more enjoyable to go experience new places. And so I would do that a lot in Vancouver, like go to a new cafe, and there's like an abundance of places. And that's just what I do, even if I'm in the Philippines, say. I just go to a new cafe a day, and that's part of just living around the world. And I will get myself dressed. I'll put on like whatever outfit I feel called to. So even the way I get dressed, it's very intuitively led. I'll be like, what do I feel like wearing today? And I'll just kind of, and I like having that sense of like almost like a capsule wardrobe, like a limited, there's this app that I recently downloaded. It's like you can actually scan and like the images of every image of every item piece of clothing that you own. So you have like a virtual visual way to like look at your wardrobe just like from your phone, and you can almost like piece items together that way rather than having to physically like look at your wardrobe in that sense. So I just have yet to do that, but I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the thing. It's like streamlining the process and using AI and technology to really support these everyday activities. And for me, like just getting dressed, it's a bit of a chore. Like I'm not really someone who likes to expend a lot of time and effort on something of that nature, something that's just like a daily thing that you always do, which is why even like things like eating, I like to surround it with this experience of like, okay, it's like an experience in itself. I'm going to a new place. A lot of times I'll document it in a way. I'll take photos of what I had. Um, photos of the location, the aesthetic of the place is just as important as the food that's served there. And then I'll take note of like, oh, what was unique about this cafe? What kind of service that they provide? And, was there anything unique and out of the ordinary and whatever I notice. So there's also a bit of a journaling exercise. It's like I'm just in the moment. I'm very aware and present. A lot of times I'm solo, so I'm not necessarily like distracted by another person or in conversation or something, or even, I'm not there with like a big like I'm not there like being distracted. Like I'm very much in the moment. I'm making it like an essential part of my day. I'm like, it's like an event. And with the cafe, I can either decide I'm like, okay, maybe today I'll just do a little bit of journaling, or maybe I'll actually have specific things I want to do. Like maybe I'll bring my laptop. Sometimes I'll have specific things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here and try to complete this particular task while I'm there. So I always like to have something a little bit like a key thing that I can do that, maybe doesn't take too much concentration, where, when you're out and about, you're not exactly going to be necessarily in that deep focus mode. At least I don't find I can really get into deep focus mode most of the time if I'm out and about. So I'll try to pick something a bit more light, like, okay, maybe I'll just go through some emails while I'm out here, or I'll try to complete this particular task, or I'll find out about this, or just this thing on my to-do list that I was meant to get around to. And I'll try to have like something in mind, so I have a certain focus and a certain clear objective, if that makes sense. And this really kind of keeps my energy up and high. And of course, I love doing like having that sense of not just doing one thing. I'm a manifesting generator, so it's like I'm always having to like do multiple things at once. Like, so at the same time that I'm enjoying a meal, I'm also in a new place, and then I'm also very cognizant of what's going on around me. I'm paying attention to the details. It's like an experience in itself for me. And meanwhile, actually, a lot of times I just walk to nearby places. Like I'm very big on just local, wherever I happen to me. I see like what's around the area, and I'll really explore in depth like this place. I don't really feel the need to like go. Maybe there's one day a week I'll like adventure to like new places and make a whole day, more a whole day of exploration. We'll just be out and about for the whole day. And but usually it's just like on routine days where I will spend actually the entire morning. So even right now, I call this almost like my silent mode, where, especially when I just get up, I really need that deep silence. I obviously am by myself, so I don't want to talk to anybody necessarily. I don't want to listen to anything. I don't want to hear anything outside or that might distract me from my own internal thoughts. So it's a state of deep focus and internal, like going within and really listening to that intuition. I feel like my intuition is especially heightened in the morning. And even like until about 1 p.m., I find like I've not really wanted to go out into like the world where all the noise and distraction is, until I really get that out of my system. So it's really this state of going into like this, what do you call it? Like I don't want to listen to music in the stage. I don't want to do anything that's really going to take away from this deep focus that I have. So a lot of times I'll try to do the things that I feel very called to, or that involved a little bit more involvement from your, like it takes a little bit more energy. Like even recording this podcast, sometimes I have to really tap into the state of being able to bring out that energy and like express it outward. Because a lot of times, like even if, sometimes maybe you can relate to this, you hold things inside and it's easy to just kind of have it there and it's always there. But to actually express it and articulate it and take the time to actually put it out into something more tangible and capture it in a way, and also, have that put words to what you're thinking and feeling, like this all takes a certain energy and effort. And you have to be in that mindset of focus and a little bit more of that silence, where you're not distracted by other things, or you're really in that zone to really focus on what you're presenting and talking about. So that's what this podcast episode is in fact about. But I don't always record my podcast in the morning, by the way. It just so happens that this one I felt called to, as I'm literally in the middle of my morning. And I'm also just about to move the place that I'm currently at to another place. So it's also just that organic sense of movement and flow. It's like when I feel called to move, or, it's that organic feeling of like, okay, things are never or always shifting or always dynamic. And that's like a constant in my life. There's always movement, and there's always a sense of dynamicism, and there's always a sense of like new experiences. And like, it's almost like I see it as like this stage where it's like the set. It's like, if you can just imagine, like as if you're playing in like a dollhouse, and like the backdrop, it's like, it gets like the set director, the designer is just like, okay, next set. And suddenly it's like the set is constantly changing, but you as a character remain the same. It's like you're still that same, like you're still you. And then obviously you also evolve and grow as a person and you change and shift and this and that and that. But I just almost like see it from this place of like the backdrop is like shifting and then you're just like, oh, okay, new scene, new set. And so it feels like I'm constantly in that space of like a new scene, a new set. So this in like an hour or two, I'm just gonna quickly pack my stuff together. I'm gonna move to another residence for the remainder of my time in the Philippines. Then after this, I'm actually going to Korea. So I'll be in Korea and then I'll fly back to Canada for like a few weeks. And I haven't really planned out the rest of my year as yet, but I do have like little nudges and intuitive hits and prompts that are coming downloading. And that's the thing. It's like I don't necessarily feel the need to make things happen until I get the clear prompt or the clear direction, like, okay, do this now, do that. So even though it's like the May, it's like literally mid-May. It's right now, it's April 15th, the morning of where I'm at. And it feels like I'm on track. It feels like I've really kind of taken this month to really just go inward and to focus on like these particular habits and routines and going into that deep focus and that work mode in the sense that like really getting my thoughts out there and capturing a lot of the ideas that I have and expressing more of that inner self and bringing that out a lot more, especially with this podcast. And I've been posting a lot more and also am being called to like step up even more when I'm, showing up online and such. It's more like it's just this feeling like call to expression and showing up and leadership in a way. I can't really put into words. It's just this, yeah, it's like, so right now, a lot of my activities are almost in the culling. It's in this feeling of clearing out space to be able to focus more on these core priorities and these core priorities that really do take a little bit more deepening of presence and alignment and actually showing up in a more authentic way and even more clear-headed way. So, when you're bogged down by a lot of distractions or different activities, your mind can feel quite pulled in too many directions. And for me, it's all about simplifying that and streamlining it and just honing in on like the few key, even one or two things that I really, really am pulled to. And right now, that really is, it's not really content creation. It's more just sharing my life, like sharing my ideas and what's going on for me and just like the journey and doing that in such a way that it's like has a certain it's not just like I'm just sharing. Like there has to be a certain level of teaching in it, if that's the word. It's like it's more like wanting to express the core wisdom and the nuggets of experiences and like that, like a certain light force, like an energy of like lighting up like the key experience of it, like what exactly was the point of the story or getting to that heart and that core and really refining that, polishing it, like bringing it out. And that really is the core focus, polishing that diamond, if you will. And this is really what a lot of my focus is on clearing out the lower energy things that are pulling me away from being totally present and like on board and even just being able to sync up my focus to be more aligned with this core two priorities. The two priorities being more showing up online in the way that I want to show up. And number two, really expressing myself and the ideas that are within that really want to come out. So for me, that looks like maybe even just like clearing out a lot of my email inboxes, because that's for me, it's like if you can have that clarity of mind to filter what comes in and be able to like, okay, like this is not my focus right now, and just like delete, 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 or even just like put into the correct folders to deal with like first. And I'm actually looking a lot into like finding more ways to delegate and even to like leverage AI and things of that nature to make things like that not really something that I would have to do. Maybe I even have to hire a personal assistant. I don't know. But it's just this idea of really cleaning up my schedule and making it the core focus very, very clear. And it's almost like an apex. It's like a flowing all to like the apex, which is for me like content creation. I don't even want to use the phrase content creation. For me, it's just kind of like that sharing, like not sharing. I don't even have a word for it, okay? It's just showing up online in the way that I want to show up online. And it's like clearing a lot of the activities I'm seeing as like a triangle, and it's like, so if that's like the top priority, everything else has to support it. So it's like kind of putting the legs under it, and like everything needs to support that, to uphold that core value and priority right now and focus. Everything that I need to put underneath to be able to support that, and even to clear any directions that are not on board with that or that are taking away from that. So for me, that's just kind of completing a lot of that's really almost like getting me to buckle up and like really complete a lot of tasks that I might have put on the back burner or something and just not properly looked at up until now, and be like, okay, I need to really focus on get this done clearly and thoroughly and cleanly. So that is off my mind and I can be more present. And so, the period of time until really like almost 1 p.m. for me is this feeling of deep focus and going into that, like allowing myself to be in that deep silence mode where I can really like, I don't even want to emerge outside until I get all that done, because I know that I'll be almost like irritable. I'll be a bit like feeling distressed, or I'll be feeling like I'm tugged in too many directions, that feeling of not really being present. And I really love being present. So even sometimes 2 p.m. and then I'll be like, okay, now I'm ready to go out. And then at that time I'll maybe go and I'll be like, okay, I'm so excited to go to a cafe now, because guess what? I did something for me first in the morning. It's like I really spent that whole period of time just feeding into me to nourish myself and to like do the things that I'm called to and that really are activating me right now. And it's just this it's almost like a sprint. It feels like a sprint. It feels like I'm having to really cram in a lot of things within a very short period of time. Like, so it's like I'm spending like the whole hours in the morning just totally feeding into myself and allowing myself to focus on the things that I'm really drawn to and getting a lot of things done that are on my mind, or tasks that require that deep focus and almost inoculation. And then, only then, suddenly, obviously, I get hungry. And then I'm like, okay, I also need to switch gears right now. And maybe like my focus is waning, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's so good that I just had that stretch of like a good few hours of core priorities and like that focus and that like that deep focus on those core things. And now I feel like, okay, phew, it's like a sigh of relief. And you're like, okay, now I can maybe shift my focus a little bit and do something a little bit not as involved. And so like say going out for a bit of a walk, and going, and that combines with going to a cafe and then actually getting some food or something. So as you can see, a lot of these activities are very combined. Not only am I combining a bit of fitness, getting out and about, fresh air, whatnot, and having that novelty and new experience. I'm also in a different country, so then I get to explore like a little bit. It's a combination. I'm not like a full on tourist, like going on tours and whatnot, and stuff of that nature. I'm more just kind of like living everyday life in a new place. And, there's that element of novelty and experiences and travel. And it's all combined a little bit with just living and being. And also just working on things that you would work on normally. And so I would go to like a cafe, and then I would have, there's a bit of that social, even if you're by yourself, there's a bit of that social element because you're around other people now. You're not just like by yourself in your own space. So it kind of combines a lot of those the well balanced everyday things that you would that go into helping you feel more balanced. You don't want to be too off balance just spending the entire day in deep focus. Like I don't even think my focus would stretch that long. And obviously you didn't get hungry, so you can't just ignore your basic needs. So obviously I'll take a break, and then I'll revive myself in a way. I'll get my body, I'll give myself a bit, go for a walk or whatever. And then while I'm in the cafe, I might do a bit of journaling. So it's just a little bit of reflection and so zoning out a little bit. And um, then obviously I'll try foods that I'm, intuitively feel called to have. Sometimes I'll just have like some sweets, or I'll have like an iced matcha or something, or I'll have like a spaghetti, or whatever it is. Like I don't actually have like, oh my gosh, it's lunch right now, I have to have something like this, or my lunch is not necessarily always at the same time either. So I'm very intuitively led with my eating choices or food choices. I might even just like the other day I just had like a Nanaimo bar, and then a couple hours later then I had like a proper meal, right? So it's like I don't really have these rules of like, oh, I can't just eat dessert if I crave it. I'm like, if I'm craving something, I trust that my body's leaving there for me for some reason. Like I don't really have these rules of like, oh, that's not healthy, or that's you've already had too many pastries, or you've had too many sweets, or you should get like some real food or whatever. I will literally order what I feel like having, even if it looks strange, or who knows, even if my logical mind is like, what? So I get dressed intuitively. I eat intuitively. I organize my time intuitively. Like my whole life is just about allowing my intuition to lead. And so after I do that, a lot of times maybe I'm out for like 4 or 5 hours. Like yesterday, I also just went and I got like my nails done. So sometimes I'll inject like something that I just feel called to. So it's not always just like I'm just going out for food. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I feel drawn to do a little bit of shopping or sightseeing, or I'll just walk around for a little bit, or just go to a new neighborhood or area that I'm drawn to and just maybe sit around with a coffee or something. Not coffee literally, but just like a drink or some cafe that I feel called to, or even just sit in like a park bench or something. Who knows? Um, Climb some steps and go see like from a viewpoint or vantage point, something like that. It's just like every day is a little bit different. There's always like, so once I head out with the main focus of getting something to eat, I'll also surround a little bit of an outing, whatever I feel called to in that moment, or whatever area I feel called to, whichever, whatever happens to unfold. Like none of this is planned, right? So my schedule is very much just like organizes itself. I allow it to organize itself. And I'm like, you know what? I also feel like I could leverage AI in some way to even enhance it even more. That most of my schedule, like I legitimately do not try to wake up at a certain time. I do not try to do some like have a meal at a certain time. I don't set appointments like that with myself with very hard time frames. I simply allow my energy to dictate, that ebb and flow. I'm like, okay, I'm in that deep focus mode until like 1 or 2 p.m. And at that time, I obviously get hungry or my energy starts to wane and I need to refocus. I need to shift focus, and then I'll allow myself to just do something totally different. I'll go out for the walk and then hydrate, nourish myself. Why not? Do a bit of just more outdoor activities. And then afterwards in the evening, I'll usually feel drawn back to just come back and I'll, you know, take a quick shower or something. And I really just love, like, really in this particular season of my life, I'm just so glad to just be back and get back to focusing on like some internal things that I want to focus on, or just organizing certain things. So at the end of the day, it won't be necessarily deep focus work, but there'll be a lot of just kind of intuiting. Like this whole day, like my whole day is arranged intuitively. So I'll be like thinking like, what was it? So what is it now that I feel like I really need to focus on? And that'll inform a lot of times like what I do for the next day, or even like I'm a bit of a night owl as well. I'm a bit of a night owl, so a lot of times I'll just stay up until I actually feel tired and I'll work on things, or I'll consider things, or I'll do certain things that I'm called to, or even like sometimes I'll just be I'm like there's a particular topic or that will come to mind, and suddenly I go down like a rabbit hole. So I don't really try to like box myself into any one particular activity, but my day is really split up, I would say, into three main focuses. So the main morning part is like that deep focus, really going on what I feel like I have that real ability to focus in the morning. So I'll leverage that by focusing on things that maybe involve a little more intensive energy and focus. And then a little bit more in the midday, I find I have a little bit more of that need to kind of just be more active physically, and I'll go out and about, and then I'll use that to, go outside and explore and lighten things up and not be so much in that introverted state kind of thing. And so I have a bit of that balance. And then the third chunk of the day is really just returning back to my own space and kind of just doing more, I guess you call admin tasks, like washing up, changing clothes. I might tidy up a little, just like little things to reorganize, and then I might even set a new intention, or even just like a core focus, and be like, okay, what is it that I'm feeling pulled to now, in light of what unfolded today? Like, was there any new information or anything that had been completed that I can wipe off my plate right now, or something new that came in that suddenly I need to kind of organize in some way? So that's what the third part of my day will usually involve. So my day is very intuitively led, and it's really divided into three main focuses that are in alignment with my energetic flow and state of flow, like that rhythm that occurs throughout the day. Like the deep focus in the morning, a little bit more of that extroverted nature in the mid afternoon, and then a little bit more of that just returning to light activities in the evening. And that is really how my days currently are, just being like a bit of a nomad, living around the world in different places as a solo traveler in my 30s. And it's just that idea that, life is really about you and your experiences. It's not about the things that you own or the things that you possess in that sense. So I love, in a sense, living out of a suitcase because it really hones in on, even as I'm just like, I'm about to move in like probably within the half an hour, I'm probably going to just throw all my stuff into my suitcase. Like, I'm not even going to try to organize it. I'm just going to pack like within the hour or something. So I'm just going to do that actually pretty quickly. And it's just this idea that it's like, you need to just focus on the things that actually matter. And that's like experiences, that's life, that's adventure. It's noticing how you feel, it's your emotions, it's your thoughts, it's your perspectives, it's sharing with other people and putting things out into the world that you create based on your own perceptions and experiences. And when you organize your life around this way, you find like it becomes very streamlined and it kind of becomes has like a core focus and purpose and like a momentum. It like kind of has a forward moving direction that moves you in a certain way. And even like, a lot of my life, it just unfolds like organically. And like even now I'm just kind of shifting residences. So it's like every day is always like a new like there's always something in the day that kind of it's like the set changing. It's like, okay, new set, new scene, new this, new that. And it's like I don't even have to plan it. I don't even have to think about it. It kind of just when I get the prompt, then I just go ahead and enact it. Like it's almost like I'm just in a play. I'm in a like I'm just being directed and I'm just like the actor in the show or something. Like that's how I largely feel when I just go about my life, where I don't even know how I came to be in the Philippines. Like obviously I knew like I had to book the plane and whatever, but these largely were not ideas that came from me if I'm you know what I mean, in the sense of the word. Like it really, you know, if I were to think about my logical mind, I would have been like, you know what, I probably would have preferred to go here, this and this. But I always lean into my intuition. I'm like, where do I feel called to go? Where do I feel like is the place that I need to be right now, or that somehow the universe, God, spirit, whatever is calling you and is directing you to be here for whatever reason, for a bigger picture. And in that state, a lot of times the story just unfolds of its own accord and things just happen that I don't even have to think about or plan. And I just feel like this strong sense of deep connection and peace within that allows me to simply go about living life without having to think about so much about the set, like the behind the scenes. Like I trust that the behind the scenes are being taken care of by like the set director, this and this and that, it's almost like I'm like on a team. It feels like I have a team that's like the universe and I'm just like showing up and like going along with the ride. And it feels it's like a way of being that I it allows me to just be. Like that's just the best way that I can describe it. It just allows me to just be. And if you've been following the story like about going to Vancouver to Toronto and then from there on going on my around the world trip, it was really this allowing my intuition to lead that led to this particular philosophy and motto. It's like let the story write itself. It's like just allow yourself to be. How do I allow myself to just be? It's like I allow the other forces of the world to kind of do a lot of the directing and the guiding and the putting things into place, and I simply just show up as I feel called. And yeah, so now it's just about 10 after 10:30 a.m., 10:35 a.m. ish. I think I started this podcast at 10:10 episode, and so I'm now going to just actually now I feel that prompt right. I'm like, okay, now I feel like it's time to get my stuff into my luggage, and then I'm gonna head out and move to my next residence. And that's the thing. It's like I don't even plan what time I'm going to pack. I just allow my body to kind of intuitively tell me, okay, now this is the next thing that you can do, and I just allow that to unfold in that regard, in that way, and everything happens like on point, on time, if you simply allow it to.